of a furor, even in a town accustomed to speaking slightly of millions, when he appeared on the scene Saturday with 310 fresh, crisp $100 bills and proceeded to pass them out freely to cab drivers and waitresses. Brennan, who drives a sightseeing cab, hit the jackpot for about $7,800. He began to spend it immediately, $3,500 on a down payment on a house he had wanted a long time, another $1,000 on furniture, $500 to pay an old hotel bill, then more diamond rings and watches for his son and himself. But it all went glimmering like Cinderella's pumpkin coach when police, suspicious of Leroy's free and easy way with his money, picked him up for questioning. They sent him to the hospital, and Brennan, by request, canceled his purchases and returned the money, but he didn't give up. Says, "You can't make me believe Mr. Leroy didn't know what he was doing. It made him happy to help other people." In addition to Brennan's refunds, police tracked down enough other beneficiaries of Leroy's largesse to bring their collections to $16,000, including $6,000 he had deposited in a bank. Now, he had all the $21,000 he claims he had. He must have passed it out during side trips to New York, Reading, Pennsylvania, and Luray, Virginia. It'll be some time before Brennan knows whether we'll get the $7,800 back, whether it'll be placed in trust, or whether it'll be handed over to his brother Robert, who's reportedly on his way from Michigan. And who says the armed forces aren't united? Department of Defense announced proudly the Air Force has commended a Navy captain whose father is a retired Army general. The commendation went to Captain Cameron Briggs, the son of Brigadier General Raymond E. Briggs, retired. Those some of the day's top news stories from Saturday, October 1st, 1949. On your radio next, The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
This is basic civil defense information from the Department of Defense, Office of Civil Defense, Washington. If our nation ever comes under nuclear attack and you take shelter to protect yourself from radioactive fallout, water is the key emergency supply. Each person will need at least a quart a day, and if there's not enough water stored in your shelter, here are additional places to find it, especially if you plan to use a home shelter where you'll be on your own. Local authorities may instruct you to turn off the main water valve. When you do this, the pipes inside the house will still be full of water. Next, turn on the faucet located at the highest point in your house to let air into the system. Then use water from the faucet located at the lowest point in your house. You can also use water in your hot water heater, in the flush tanks, or water in ice cube trays, milk, soft drinks, canned juices. If necessary, you can even drink water that's been exposed to fallout. However, very young children should be given non-contaminated liquids when available. For more information, consult your local civil defense office.
Now we continue on Classic Radio Theater with an episode of The Adventures of Philip Marlowe starring Gerald Moore. This episode, entitled Tale of the Mermaid, originally broadcast 75 years ago today, Saturday, October 1st, 1949.
Get this and get it straight. Crime is a sucker's road, and those who travel it wind up in the gutter, the prison, or the grave. This started with a wreck and went from there to double murder over $75,000 worth of glitter that nobody got in the end. Because I found out just in time what was fishy about the tale of the mermaid.
From the pen of Raymond Chandler, outstanding author of crime fiction, comes his most famous character in The Adventures of Philip Marlowe. Now, with Gerald Moore starred as Philip Marlowe, we bring you tonight's exciting story, The Tale of the Mermaid.
9:30, I was still in my office, tucking in the loose ends on a report, while I listened with half an ear to the fabric of city sounds rising from the street below. The fabric ripped suddenly by tires clawing concrete. The shattering crash that followed brought me to my feet. It was a traffic accident, and a bad one. I ran to the window, but it had happened around the corner out of sight from my office. So I watched others run for it and remembered grimly that every 30 seconds, somewhere in the country, a thing like that happened. And 1 out of every 16 minutes was fatal. I wondered who had been chewed up in a chromium meat grinder this time as I listened to first the police, then the emergency ambulance, and finally The scavenger truck cleaned the wreck off the street. After that, I went back to my report again and tried to forget about it. But an hour later, that same accident came back into my office.
Mr. Marlowe.
Yeah?
This is Corey Riggs.
Yes, Miss Riggs?
I'm a nurse at the Warwick Emergency Hospital.
Uh-huh.
About an hour ago, a man named Stanley Ott was brought in, and he's been calling for you.
For me?
He was badly injured in an automobile accident on Cahuenga on his way to your office.
Wait a minute, who did you say this was?
I'm the nurse assigned to Mr. Ott at the hospital. I just got off duty, and I had to wait until I was relieved before I could call you.
I see. Well, look, Miss Riggs, I'd like to help in any way I can, but it's 9:30.
Mr. Marlowe, Mr. Ott gave me $250 and told me to call you.
Yeah, I know, but
And he said that I should give you $200 and keep the $50 for myself.
Oh, fine. Now I get clients by proxy.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing. I'll be right over, Miss Riggs. I didn't know anyone named Stanley Ott, and I felt a little like an ambulance chaser, but I was only 15 minutes in getting to the emergency hospital. As I walked up the ambulance ramp, a smart-looking brunette came toward me.
Mr. Marlowe? I'm Corey Riggs, the nurse who called.
Oh, hello. Can I see him now?
It wouldn't do any good. You see, he went into a coma a few minutes after I called you.
Oh, it's too late, is that it?
Let's move away from the door, shall we?
Sure.
You see, Mr. Marlowe, before he went into the coma, Ott wasn't rational. He was raving.
About what sort of things?
About you and a girl.
Oh?
As near as I could make out, she's supposed to meet someone tonight at 2 o'clock and collect $75,000.
It's quite an assignment. Who's the girl?
I don't know. All Ott said was something about a plaid coat as identification.
Plaid coat, huh? Any idea what he wanted me to do? Chaperone, maybe?
No, he kept pleading, stop her, she can't do it. So I'm sure that he wanted you to prevent this girl from keeping that appointment. For some reason that seems absolutely imperative to him.
Where was this 2 o'clock meeting supposed to take place?
I have no idea.
Oh, fine. So it boils down to this. A girl we don't know in a plaid coat is meeting someone we don't know at a place we don't know at 2 a.m. The man who wants me to prevent it is in a coma and can't talk. Didn't he say anything else, Miss Riggs?
He just kept saying, you've got to help me, Marlowe. It's life and death.
You know, we can stir up an awful hornet's nest poking our noses into $75,000 worth of business we know nothing about. I doubt that we can do any good anyway, because we don't have enough to go on. If he said anything else to even point in the right...
Marlowe.
What?
Oh, wait a minute. He mumbled something once about a Constantine.
Constantine?
Yes, it's some pier.
What is it, a boat?
I don't know. But at least it's a lead, isn't it?
Anything else?
No.
Okay, where can I reach you?
I'll be at my quarters, Crestview 5781.
5781. And keep track of Stanley Ott's condition, will you? If he comes out of it, talk to him. We've only got 3 short hours. I'll call you, Corey. I felt a little weird as I left the hospital because I was traveling on strictly second-hand information as to what had gone on in a delirious mind. But in spite of that, there was still enough coherence in what Corey Riggs told me to make a case. My first stop was a phone booth and a call to the police, where I found out from the accident report that Stanley Ott was 30, unmarried, small-time lawyer, and an L.A. resident with a clean police record. My next call was the harbor master's office in San Pedro.
Constantine? No, don't remember no vessel by that name, sonny. Just a minute, I'll look her up in the registry. Let's see, Constantine. Only one listed is a 4-masted schooner sunk off Pirates Point near Monterey in 1870.
It's a little before my time.
Not the one, eh?
Not the one. So I tried the Coast Guard.
No fishing boat called Constantine on this coast, mister.
That was followed by a check of Yacht Harbor at Long Beach, negative. And a call to the pleasure boat anchorage at Santa Monica.
No Constantine registered here, sir.
And after that, a long, futile reconnaissance of the waterfront from one end to the other. It left me 1 solid hour later out at the end of a tottering, almost abandoned concessions pier in Venice, swearing in blind frustration at the black, seething ocean below. I was licked.
Ain't thinking of jumping in, are you, pal? Hey, you look like you lost your best friend.
I did, Buster. Me. I was sunk with a Constantine in 1870.
Constantine? Hey, you know him, too, huh?
Him?
Yeah.
You mean Constantine's a guy?
Sure, pal. There's a shack there. Wait till the beacon light comes around again. You see? See there?
Well, I'll be. Prince Constantine Chevnov. Occultist, palmist, and medium. Personal consultant by appointment only.
Yeah, but that's a fake.
No fooling.
All them guys. He owes everybody around, even at the Ziggy, me. For $1 and there's something. But he's a genuine Russian prince. Hey, where you going?
Have a look. Prince Constantine Chevnov could be my boy.
He wouldn't want you nosing around here, pal.
That's too bad. Does he live here?
Yeah, in the back. He runs his pitch in the front where all them green curtains are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I suppose he always leaves his door unlocked, huh?
What? Whoa. Hey, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I'll bet. There'll be a light switch here someplace. Oh, yeah. Now let's see what... Oh.
Holy cats. Goodbye, mister. Goodbye.
As the little wharf rat darted through the door and scampered away into the darkness, I went over to the body, face up on the cheap, gaudy carpet of the seance room. He was about 35 in a substantial gray business suit stained red in front where the bullets had gone in. And his wallet was missing. There was no other identification on him. His gray, snap-brim hat was spilled a few feet away, so I picked it up to look for initials and found instead a small file card stuck into the sweatband. Typed at the top was the heading, The Mermaid. Ona Otis Van Owen, only relative Evelyn Van Owen, niece. Mermaid stolen November 12, 1948. Insurance paid in full. In ink, Van Owen died August 1949, and under that in pencil, Konstantin Chevnov, Venice Pier, and Louis Paradise, 913 Seacrest Road, Pacific Palisades. It took 20 minutes to find 913 Seacrest. And when I stopped and got close enough, what I saw through an open window made Constantine Trap I just left look as reliable as a post office by comparison. It was a miniature Egyptian temple, exotic and dainty, sickening lushness of red velvet and yellow silk. And in the center of the room was a bloated little man, balancing a long cigarette holder in one hand, while he simpered into a honey-colored French phone in the other. I moved up quietly until I could hear him.
A sentimental agreement. That is right, Evelyn. Your Uncle Otis and I were the best of friends for years. Well, thank you, child. Where are you now? Oh, the servitor. Good. I advise you to stay there until a few minutes before 2, and you will not forget to wear a plaid coat, just to be sure I won't make a mistake.
What is it, Bud?
What?
Sideshow?
Hey!
Careful
Of course
now.
you would not.
Sudden noises like this gun going off upset Mr. Paradise.
I am looking forward to meeting you.
What do you find so interesting inside?
Conversation. About the mermaid, probably.
Uh-oh.
Very
Too bad you dropped that one, Bud, because I'd bump you for a nickel, say nothing to 75 G's.
I don't talk things over with punks. I reserve it for the head man. Go do something about it.
Okay, Bud, I will. Go on, move. Round to the door and inside. Mr. Paradise gets some kind of kick out of stepping on big guys like you.
The gopher face shoved his automatic into the small of my back and marched me inside, where the air was thick with cheap incense. The bloated little king with the long cigarette holder had stepped out, but he came back fast when the gopher called him.
Hey, Mr. Paradise.
He stared at me from across the room, and his nostrils flared for an instant. And he simpered again and sidled toward me. The gopher dug at my spine with his gun.
Well, now, what is this, Rudy?
Snooper, Mr. Paradise. Caught him outside peeking in the window.
Oh, it is a bad night for snoopers. Who are you?
Name's Marlowe.
And the business?
Snooping.
He knows about the mermaid, Mr. Paradise.
He does he? How much do you know? Speak up.
She's got a fishtail instead of legs.
You dare to joke?
Just stand here and take it, big man. You asked for it. Make a move and I'll drop you.
I know what you are, Marlowe, but not how much you have found out. Now tell me, because the next time I slap you, it will carry more weight than my bare hand, I promise.
You have company, Paradise.
Should I get it?
No, you keep this baboon under control, Rudy. I will answer the door. Oh, Prince, come in.
Paradise, what do you
Expecting
mean?
you.
How far do you think you can go with my reputation? Do you want to get me hanged?
Wife, what is the matter, Constantine? You are upset.
Upset? I'm out of my mind. Oh, what a shock. And such a stupid thing for you to do.
What are you raving about?
He found that body on his front room floor, right, Constantine?
Exactly. Precisely. And what is more, I did not put it there. Of all the places in the world, why did you pick this one?